All right. Good afternoon again, everyone, from the National Weather Service in Raleigh. We're back with your 4:30 p.m. Sunday, January 16, winter storm briefing. This will be our last Facebook Live event for this particular storm, and this will be our last live webinar for this particular storm. It won't be the last briefing. We'll be bringing additional briefings and information, of course. But in terms of live production, this will be our last one. So I just wanted to let folks know that certainly, we will continue to update the slides and send them out and email them. But this storm's kind of wrapping up, so this will be the last live webinar. All right, let's clear that out. And the highlights for this this briefing, obviously precipitation's winding down. It'll be ending this evening overnight. We've got temperatures that basically are going to stay put where they're at through the night. Maybe fall off a few degrees toward morning, and then basically from the Triad East, it's going to stay below freezing. Triad West, sorry, back towards the mountains. And then, of course, the biggest concern is a refreeze and black ice concerns Monday night and Tuesday morning. So, all right. So here's the current regional radar. And I've just basically got a lot of good news at this point. Let me go ahead and stop this. And a couple back edges. There's one back edge of the precip here. That's important because clearly, with temperatures in the above freezing across the southern Piedmont Sandhills region and precipitation ending, that'll give this region an opportunity to really melt some of that ice before the sun sets. And I know there's been a lot of power outages and trees down. So hopefully some good melting opportunity along the South Carolina border. I want to point out north of this line, watch out in some of these heavier bands for some heavy downpours. And we've highlighted this all throughout this event that there is an opportunity for isolated flash flooding. And I don't think we're out of those woods just yet. So watch out in those heavy downpour areas. And then finally, here's the rain kind of wintry precip transition line. And even to the northwest of this line, it's really scattering out and kind of winding down. But look how the temperatures are holding in the mid and upper 20s across the Triad. That's very climatological. The Triad north of 85, really, really takes a long time in a cold air damming situation, which this one was a classic. Before that, cold air erodes near the surface. So usually, and almost in every case, the Triad, when warm air is making its way west, the Triad is the least least likely to get into that. And of course, that was the case here. So again, good news in the sense that we've got the back edge of the precip kind of lifting north. Okay, this is all scattering out. But I want to draw your attention to this batch of precip right here. Okay, this batch of precip is associated with the upper low. And that batch of precip's going to move to the northeast this evening and overnight tonight. And you're going to see in one of the model simulations that I'm going to show suggest that some of this precip moves up across, basically right across central North Carolina from midnight to maybe 1 a.m. But by the time it gets here, there's so much dry air right in this corridor right here. There's so much dry air in this corridor lifting north. We call this a dry slot, that a lot of this precip back here, which is snow in the blue, will dry out and evaporate before it even gets to us. So I really don't think this is going to amount to any problems overnight tonight. You're going to see it in my reflectivity simulation, but I don't think this is going to be, I wouldn't get overly concerned. If you see a stray snowflake or raindrop, anywhere from Wadesboro to Fayetteville to Raleigh, maybe up toward Roanoke Rapids, again, don't be surprised. But I don't think it's going to amount to anything. Okay, so anyway, this is the latest, and we're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. All right, here is that radar simulation that I was speaking of, and you could see how things are winding down. And certainly what we have is, this little bit of sleet and freezing rain and snow mix here north of the Triad. That'll be wrapping up. That back edge that I pointed out earlier is going to continue to lift north. And heck, by 6 o'clock, that back edge ought to be north of I-40 in Johnston County and Wayne County. By 9 p.m., the only thing we have left is a few stray flurries here in the far northwest Piedmont. But then look at midnight. This is that area that I was talking about when I was showing this here. This is that area that I was just talking about. The radar reflectivity simulation suggests that might, in fact, move, basically northeast across portions of central North Carolina. Again, that'll be so light and so patchy. I really don't think that's really anything other than a few flurries and maybe a few sprinkles. Nothing to get concerned about. So all in all, things are really looking up. Precip coverage, intensity, all that's winding down. And, we should be precip-wise improving here. All right. Now, we still have a lot of ice on surfaces, ice on trees, ice on power lines, ice on structures, and it's going to continue to be gusty tonight. This is a very powerful storm system. Strong low pressure system usually results in gusty winds, so it's going to remain windy across much of central North Carolina tonight and Monday. So any trees that were weakened by ice today could fall, and that could mean additional scattered power outages are possible tonight and Monday, just about anywhere across central North Carolina. So be careful if you see any trees that are half leaning over. They still could fall, especially if they still have ice on them. All right, so watch out for those gusty winds tonight and even into tomorrow. The other concern are low temperatures. So again, if you're Triad north and west, it looks like temperatures are going to hold just below freezing. Once you get east of US 1, I think temperatures are going to stay above freezing all night, and things should be pretty good. It gets even better tomorrow with temperatures rise above freezing probably by 11 a.m. On Monday. And that combined with the wind, between the warm temperatures melting and the wind drying things up, that should lead to improved road and travel conditions Monday afternoon. Let me back up for a minute here, because I do want to point out that with temperatures still near freezing in many locations across the western Piedmont, and the snow and sleet that accumulated on roads west of Raleigh, certainly there's going to be continued hazardous travel conditions. And I failed to mention that one the first time I showed this slide. So again, I've been saying this all day, but we'll continue to see hazardous travel conditions, where temperatures remain below freezing. So this whole area that hasn't really had an opportunity to rise above freezing, and we still are going to have dangerous travel conditions and maybe some sleet covered roads. Okay, so just wanted to remind folks, if you don't have to go out tonight, just best to stay home until we can melt all this tomorrow. All right, and then once it melts, well, you have water left on the roads and surfaces. If some of that water gets back onto the roads, or ice that's melting runs back over the roads tomorrow night, it's probably, it will refreeze. Actually, look at these temperatures, low temperatures Monday night in the lower 20s across all of central North Carolina, teens even in some locations, even all the way to the coast, temperatures below freezing, in the mountains in the mid-teens. So just a very cold night, Monday night, tomorrow night. So look for, scattered, if not potentially even widespread, black ice problems Monday night into Tuesday. We're going to definitely be bringing you updates as we head through the next 24 hours by way of PowerPoint slides and briefing information on our webpage about this black ice concern. So don't worry, we're going to keep you updated on that. All right, so anyway, key points. Steady wintry precipitation will continue across the Triad region through about 9 or 10 this evening, with rain elsewhere, and then a few stray rain or snow showers may move across parts of central North Carolina during the early overnight hours. That little stray area I showed you south of Raleigh overnight But again, no accumulations, no major impacts expected from that. Otherwise, elsewhere, rain will end across all of central North Carolina. Precip, I should say, by the middle of the overnight. All right, but hazardous travel conditions from earlier snow, sleet, and freezing rain will continue across much of the western Piedmont and Triad this evening, and overnight travel in these areas is not recommended. Again, additional power outages are possible tonight across the western Piedmont and Triad area, given the lingering ice loading on trees coupled with gusty winds. Remember, anytime you see downed or hanging power lines, assume they are alive and let your power company or local police know. Obviously, a lot of folks, in fact, are without power right now. So if you're using a space heater or fireplace, make sure you use those safely. Read all the safeguards and instructions, properly ventilate. And if you're using a generator, remember, never operate that generator indoors, never operate it in a garage, never operate it in an enclosed space. Even if the doors and windows are open, deadly exhaust fumes can kill within minutes. So make sure those generators are at least 15 feet away from the house. Okay? All right, above freezing temperatures combined with gusty winds will lead to improving conditions tomorrow, but then any water left on the roads tomorrow night, coupled with the very cold sub-freezing temperatures, will result in a refreeze and black ice problems Monday night and Tuesday morning, and definitely as we head through the day tomorrow, we'll be bringing you updates on that potential. So anyway, as I kind of pointed out, this is our last live Facebook Live event. So again, for all of our Facebook friends and folks viewing on Facebook and social media, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you found this useful. As staffing permits and resources allow, we'll try to do these for future weather events. I can't guarantee it, but it's always dependent upon staffing and availability. So we'll try to do this on social media. For our core partners on GoToWebinar, of course, we're always there to bring you those briefings. And but for both, this will be the last live webinar. Again, we'll continue to produce these PowerPoint briefings, if not maybe even just single slides, to keep you updated on the black ice potential and refreeze tomorrow night. And we'll be posting those on our webpage at weather.gov/Raleigh, and also sending those out via email. So for our GoToWebinar folks, hang on. I'll get to those questions in a minute. And for our Facebook viewers, thanks so much for joining. And I wish you a good night and stay safe. And again, just stay home until all this stuff melts. Okay? So with that, thanks so much, and have a good night. All right, the stream appears to be stopped. And let me back out of this here. Oops. All right. So